Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Well, good morning. It is Friday, May 20th, 2022. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Last night, I attended Feeding Hope at Homestead Gardens, and this was the fundraiser for the food bank, and it was a complete sellout. More than 300 people attended. And during the appeal, I was more than proud to support them with a small donation, and because no one deserves to go hungry. If you can, I do encourage you to make a donation as well. The need here in Anne Arundel County is great. aafoodbank.org is where you want to go. And I have to say that the food and the Dan Haas trio were totally on point. All right, it is Friday, so let's bring on the weekend, shall we? Yesterday afternoon, a car and a motorcycle collided, leaving a motorcyclist dead and a Severna Park man injured. An Anne Arundel County Fire Department ambulance just happened on the scene, and according to police, a car was traveling north on Ritchie Highway in Arnold, approaching Baltimore and Annapolis Boulevard, and a motorcycle was traveling south. The car began to turn left onto B&A Boulevard, and the motorcycle crashed into the side of it. The motorcyclist was identified as Shane Ryder, 31, of Baltimore. The passenger in the car, Gary Bishop of Severna Park, was briefly trapped and transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the driver, Deborah Bishop, was not injured. At this point, no charges have been filed against the driver. The Annapolis Police Department is investigating a bank robbery. On Wednesday afternoon, a suspect walked into the Wells Fargo branch on Bay Ridge Road and handed the teller a note advising that it was a robbery. The teller smartly gave the suspect exactly what he wanted, an undisclosed amount of cash, and the suspect left. Police responded, looked around, and were unable to locate the suspect. Sort of a bizarre story out in West County. Apparently, D.C. Metro Police have an impound lot there, and on Tuesday night, 5 people forced their way into the locked lot in Laurel. A D.C. officer on duty confronted the 5 and claims that they fired at him and he returned fire. Well, apparently the good guys and the bad guys are all poor shots because there were no injuries reported. Anne Arundel County Police responded, and after a search, they arrested a minor and an 18-year-old that they saw were hiding in a car nearby, or they said they were hiding in a car nearby. They were positively identified by the D.C. cop. They were charged with handgun violations, but their attorney says that they weren't involved in the shooting as the handguns that were recovered were fully loaded and had not been fired. Something's not adding up here. Just a clarification and another lesson on the importance of a single word. A few days ago, the school was considering requiring masks in school communities that have a greater than 5% COVID positivity rate. People lost their mind, and by the time it came to the board, it was recommended that they wear masks. Just a change of words. But for now, no schools meet the criteria, so carry on as normal. But never letting a good crisis go to waste, the Republican Party sent out a text message blast saying that County Executive Pittman was mandating masks in the schools once again. It did its job and got everybody riled up, but the fact remains that the county executive has zero power on any school policies. That is purely up to the Board of Education and the superintendent. The county executive's only interaction with the schools is writing the check to fund their budget. So if you did get that text, as they say, hashtag fake news. Hey, take a look at a guest column on eyeonannapolis.net that Chris Phipps wrote. He's the Public Works Director for the county, and it is National Public Works Week this week. I missed that section at the Hallmark store. But he wanted to publicly thank his 800 employees for the work they do every single day, but especially during the pandemic. Public work peeps are sort of like the invisible first responders, and they make sure that the infrastructure is always there when we need it. The roads don't crumble, the poop flushes away out of your house, the bridges don't collapse, and clean water always comes from your tap. He also took the time to thank us for being patient during road work, for understanding the pressures of COVID, and more. Chris really is a class act, and I think we're lucky to have him. Definitely go give that a read at eyeonannapolis.net. A few events for the weekend. Tonight and tomorrow, for 2 shows only at the Classic Theater of Maryland, there are limited tickets left, but Steve Dorff, a Songwriters Hall of Fame inductee, will be performing. He'll be performing and talking about the songs he was written and scores and theme songs and everything else. His stuff has been recorded by, and I'm only going to use the first names because you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about, Celine, Whitney, Barbara, Kenny, Garth, Dolly, Willie, Dusty, and Keb. You've heard his television music on Murphy Brown, Growing Pains, Columbo, Just the 10 of Us, and movies like Rocky IV. All right, I'm not sure that I would have gone with that as an accolade because Rocky needed to stop, honestly, after 1. I might even entertain that you could have gotten 3 out of it, but it really needed to die at that point. Anyhow, I got distracted. To see this huge talent in a great intimate venue at the Classic Theater of Maryland this weekend, you want to go to classictheatermaryland.org, and theater has the transposed R&E at the end. It's the British way of spelling it. Tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., there is a walking tour downtown about lost history. It's $18, and it looks fascinating. It's the story of Frederick Douglass's time here in Annapolis and the relationships he forged with ministers, governors, and local families. The tour will be led by a renowned scholar on Douglass, and tickets are available at eventbrite.com, and you just want to search for Walking Tour Lost History. And, of course, kicking off at 11 a.m. tomorrow and Sunday, the final edition of the Chesapeake Bay Blues Festival. 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. both days. This is a great time. Tickets are still gettable at bayblues.org. And remember that all of this goes to charity. Now, my personal must-sees, the Spinners on Saturday evening, and Samantha Fish and Kenny Wayne Shepherd on Sunday. And to be honest, I just might have a little bit of a crush on Samantha. Just maybe. And that's it for the news, but here is some podcast news for you. Up tomorrow on the Local Business Spotlight, sailors, dog walking, and pet care. And next weekend, a cool new style of jeweler in the mall. And yes, I actually went into the mall, but Royal Jewelers. And hopefully you caught the surprise bonus pod I dropped yesterday with Heather all about the Tour de Talbot. I got to admit, I was sitting on that for a while, and I just realized that it was only 3 weeks away, so I quickly put that up and dropped it yesterday at noon. And I'll tell you, if you do ride a bike, come join us on June 4th. I may have a free t-shirt for anybody that wants to join up. And finally, as always, thank you for listening. And if you are somewhere where you can leave a rating or a review, please do. And make sure that you let your friends, family, and colleagues all know to give us a follow. It really does help. A thank you, of course, to our sponsors for today's Daily News Brief, Solar Energy Services, Alpha Engineering, and the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long and Foster company. It is Friday, so I'm going to take this time just to say have a great weekend. Be nice to others. Do something fun. Keep shopping local. Other than that, we'll see you on Monday. Now you want to hang tight because George Young from DCMDVA Weather is here with your locally forecast weather report. All of that coming up in just a bit.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt of the Kristi Neidhardt Team from Northrop Realty, a Long and Foster company.
One of the most common questions we get, how do I maximize the value of my home before I sell it? It's a great question. We look at improvements like investments. What is the rate of return? For example, if we invest $5,000 in painting kitchen cabinets and installing granite, how much more will our home sell for? The answer? About $25,000 more. That's a 500% return on investment. Because of returns like this, we have started a program called Investing in You. We know cash is often tight when you're making a move, and we are here to help. We will front you up to $15,000 to invest in refreshing your home before you list it, with the agreement to be paid back once your home settles. Call us today at 410-599-1370 so we can help you maximize your home's value.
That's another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt. To get in touch, call 410-295-6579 or visit kn-team.com. That's kn-team.com.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather. This is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Friday, May 20th. Yesterday worked out pretty well for the Annapolis region after some early AM rain as temps jumped up into the low 80s with some breezy winds as well. But the story today through Sunday will be summer-like heat each day before a cool down next week. Look for highs today in the upper 80s to lower 90s for most, with a small but valid chance of a stray PM storm, to be followed by hot conditions Saturday with sunshine and temps in the low to mid 90s for most, with some upper 90s possible in a few spots, as heat index values near 100 plus degrees for everyone, with Sunday then bringing upper 80s to mid 90s with a chance of PM storms as a cold front moves through, bringing cooler temps back into the mix in the 70s next week, with a daily chance of showers next week each day, as a boundary line between warm and cold air hangs out close to the mid-Atlantic region, keeping a general instability in place for several days in the skies above. Okay, that's it for today and this week. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day and weekend out there. Stay healthy and be safe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with our website at dcmdvaweather.info. And definitely be sure to download our DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google app stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better, knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. With all the talk of energy resilience in the news recently, I'm surprised there's not more talk about solar plus batteries, especially since 1/3 of all of our new residential solar projects include a battery backup system that provides instant energy security and peace of mind. And with incentives in place for battery backup, this investment is now more affordable than ever. With financing rates as low as 0.99% and plans offering 18 months same as cash, it's now easier than ever to go solar with no money down. Financing creates an easy bill swap scenario where you replace your electric bill with a loan payment, allowing you to build equity in your own personal energy supply. Don't wait for your next power outage to act. Contact us today at 410-923-6090 or visit us at solarsaves.net to learn more about solar with battery backup. Don't wait another minute. Sunshine's are wasted.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.